Oh, live from New York, it's the show that is delivering you a caffeinated 30 minutes. It's First Things First today.
Sweet.
That's what I've been saying. Obviously a must win.
He clearly
double must win.
He loves the show. Oh, he loves the show. All right, Brew. Let's deliver what everyone's been waiting for. What's your grade on the Cowboys' performance?
Well, Dak was absolutely right. Was, philosophically a must-win, obviously not mathematically. And I weighed that, I mixed that into the stew of coming up with this grade, like a good teachers do. All right, number one, Dak was great. Dak was great. And Nick obviously threw the ball well. He was efficient. But what I liked more was he ran the ball.
Totally
he moved. He ran 7 times for about 41 yards. That's more. Both of those are season highs.
Yep.
And when Dak was at his best, when I actually thought years ago he was going to become elite, was when he would make plays with his legs. He wasn't Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson, but it was a threat. And if he gets back to using his legs and being a threat with those, then I think that'll bode well for the Cowboys. But as I said, context is important. Of course. And they were facing the worst pass defense in the league. All right? They were, and by a mile. All right? Yeah, the Chargers, worst pass defense in the league. They were facing a defense that gives up 25 points a game, and they racked up 20. All right? They didn't run the ball well outside of Dak's little scrambles.
Here we go.
In bringing forth the grade.
What is it?
D.
No. Oh, wait, what is this? I knew he was going to do
Defense! Defense!
Not on the screen, but that's good.
Defense! All right?
Right.
So look,
solid.
the defense, I'm going to give them props, okay? Everybody ripped their defense after the Niners ripped their defense. Defense was great last night. They only had 1 sack, but they pressured them almost half of Herbert's dropbacks. And then when they needed it, Micah came through with the sack. And then a play later, Stephon Gilmore gets the interception. And, Nick, you know this. The 3 scores that the Chargers had, all those drives began in Cowboys territory. So the offense, while Dak was good, the offense in general and obviously special teams did not help the defense out at all.
Correct.
They were bad. So defense, that's the grade.
Right,
good job, defense.
I was curious where you were going with it. So here's the deal. Since we're giving out grades, is the old group project where Dak does his part, you know what? He delivered, in my opinion, A-plus work because it was a must-win. And I understand what you're saying about the Chargers' overall pass defense. They also have the highest-paid pair of edge rushers in the league in Mack and Bosa. Mack had, 6 sacks a couple weeks ago. Bosa's a great player. That's a desperate team coming off a bye. I thought Dak was brilliant. I thought the defense, even though they didn't get their 1 sack until the final drive of the game, which, by the way, if that was a Chiefs game-winning sack, people would be like, oh, where's the roughing the passer there? Well, that's been being called all year long. But set that aside. I thought the defense deserved an A. So an A-plus work from one guy, A work from another.
A-plus.
And then the guy whose job it was to send the work in to the teacher
we're back.
was asleep at the switch. And you know what happens there? You're lucky if you get a passing grade at all. Late work, I don't know about you, Brew, at Oberlin, but a lot of schools, they're like, you know what? Not a day late, dollar short, doesn't matter. You get an F. And Mike McCarthy, I'd love to be on here and puff my chest out and say, told so about the Cowboys. Seen the Cowboys' upcoming schedule, the Eagles' upcoming schedule, which we can show you. There's a very good argument to be made that by Thanksgiving, the Cowboys are going to be in first place. You look at these upcoming schedules, that when the Cowboys could be in first place after week 9. They beat the Rams, they'll be playing the Eagles for first place. Even if they don't beat the Eagles there, they then get Giants, Panthers, not so frisky Commanders, while the Eagles have the Chiefs and the Bills and the Niners. So I'd love to be like, told you guys wrote off the Cowboys too early, and I do think they were written off a little too early. But Mike McCarthy, it'd be one thing, Wildes, if it was run-of-the-mill bungling the clock, which he did early in this drive. But this right here wasn't bungling the clock. This right here was him telling the referee and America and Troy and Joe, I don't trust my quarterback. That's what that was. You have 8 seconds left. You have 2 timeouts. You're at the 15-yard line. You take a shot into the end zone. You know who wouldn't? The Browns this week with P.J. Walker. Or the Colts this week with Gardner Minshew. Or guys where it's like, you know what? Take the 3 points. If the Cowboys are going to get to where I believe they can, where Jerry believes they can, where their roster talent says they can, They need to have A-minus quarterbacking. And Mike McCarthy just told the entire world, I don't think we have it. And that is maddening to me. And so I believe they do have it, Wildes, but Mike McCarthy is going to be a stone or an anvil around their neck for the time being. And that is greatly concerning. That's concerning.
Yeah, we know. That's what we've been telling you.
No, that's not all you
And you used to say that.
You say it all the time.
Exactly.
And despite that, despite yourself, you chose the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. So don't be mad at your own take.
I didn't think there were any great options. I thought the Eagles were a flawed team. I think we're seeing it. You guys know I don't believe in the Niners quarterback. And we'll see about the Lions, maybe I underrated them. But you were telling me up until yesterday, what's the evidence the Cowboys are a good team? Why are the Cowboys making the playoffs?
They got a good win.
And so
win.
That's a good win. And so I do think that, Brew, this was their best win of the year, all things considered. But
I mean, when you look at who they've beaten, no doubt it was their best
win. McCarthy being rewarded for this behavior concerns me that it's going to rear its head again. And then he was wasting time out in the second half.
Nick, here's the thing. Yeah. All right, the Chargers are obviously a flawed team themselves. Yeah. When you can get away with it against them, and you barely did against them, when it's the Niners, when it's the Eagles, maybe the Lions, Seattle, maybe a team that's well coached. I mean, maybe they're playing well. That's when it'll hurt you. That's when the room for error is this
never
small.
Hurt McCarthy in the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
God, dog. I am a little anxious about this. This is where I'm honest. The Cowboys win, and I'm more nervous than I was after the Niners loss.
On the other side of the ball, Justin Herbert. Chargers fall 2-3. He throws 2 touchdowns and a game-sealing interception to Stephon Gilmore. Brew, you kind of like QB wins more than the other guy. But Herbert is now 27 in 27 in his career. He seems to be stuck in neutral along with the Chargers as a whole. Look at this graphic Josh cooked up. It's the last 54 games with Phillip Rivers and the first 54 games with Justin Herbert. Wow. So it looked like they turned the page. They got better, more dynamic. Isn't that a great graphic from Josh?
Great job by Josh.
That is,
Josh and me.
Really, that's good work.
That's good, Josh. We should use it.
Excellent work.
So overall, I mean, you can talk about the game or you can talk about it from 10,000 feet. Are you disappointed in Herbert's performance?
Yeah, I'm disappointed, not just in last night. And remember, we had Greg Jennings on, and he said the reason he picked the Chargers was because at the end of the day, I'm going to trust Herbert over Dak. Yeah. And Herbert obviously makes that interception late in the game.
And played poorly before that.
Yeah, he didn't play well. And the thing is this, he's got all the talent, all the physical tools, and he's got toughness. You know, he played through the rib injury last year. He's got the fractured fingers on his non-throwing hand, but that limits him in getting under center and stuff like that. So he's physically tough, physically gifted. Because of the record, and I'm starting to wonder, does he have the intangibles? And toughness is an intangible, too. So he's got that.
Very tough.
But I'm talking about poise. I'm talking about decision making. I'm talking about making the plays at the right time, galvanizing your teammates. I'm starting to wonder because, I'm down on Brandon Staley. Yeah. I think they need a new coach.
Yep.
All right. And then a lot of his players get hurt, a lot of his receivers. So there are other things. But I'm starting to wonder about that because the great ones overcome stuff like that. And look at this graphic. I talked about decision making. These are the most fourth quarter interceptions since Herbert entered the league. He's number one.
And it's
Matt Ryan has been old since 2020. Now he's out of the league. The other guys just aren't very good, and Russell Wilson's had fallen off the last 2 years.
And then look at it in one-score games.
It's
way
worse.
A lot.
Right.
So
I got questions.
So listen, as I've said before, I don't like when teams blame their best players for their worst problems. And I don't think Justin Herbert's the problem at all. My problem is this. I'm going to use a basketball analogy. Little Karl Anthony Towns to me.
Oh.
Came into the league.
That's interesting.
Really good.
That's a good one.
And it was like, he's going to be great. And years later, he's still really good. And so if we show you his first year versus his last 3 years, Brew and I were, look. It's the same picture. And that's you can't say he's not good. He's obviously good. Yeah. But when Brew, you and I were sitting on my couch together watching his first game after Tyrod Taylor got stabbed. And we were like, this guy came in off the bench against the defending champion Chiefs. He lost, but he played well. We're like, oh man, this guy's gonna be a star. He's the same. Is he clearly one of the 8 best quarterbacks in football? Yes. Yeah. But at this point, did I expect more? Yes.
Don't you think that's the intangibles?
Yeah, well, and here's the last thing, Wildes. My biggest test for quarterbacks. I bet against them. The team I bet on has the lead. They get the ball in that exact situation. Am I worried? Nope, I wasn't. I did not expect him down 3 with 2.5 left to rally for the win or at least the tie. Mm-hmm. I wasn't surprised.
Like Brock Purdy did Sunday.
Exactly.
The Niners won? We got to redo yesterday's show. Speaking of Brock. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.